Guess what? So Trumpers and left-wing Democrats unite to lobby they united on Assange.
Why?
Look at that.
Why now?
So they wrote a letter.
Okay.
So the eclectic group of signatories. So they wrote a letter and they sent it directly to Joe Biden saying, really, so you stop doing this to Julian Assange. And this is how it was reported in the Sydney Morning Herald. That's over in Australia, g'day. The eclectic group of signatories includes left-wing champion Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and chair of the Democratic Progressive Caucus, Pramila Jayapal, people who all lied to you to keep you from having health care. As well as the Libertarian Republican Senator Rand Paul and pro-Trump Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, what's interesting about this is Marjorie Taylor Greene put together some kind of censure of Pramila Jayapal over Israel-Palestine.
Yeah, well,
but they came together. They're coming together
for a letter.
To
Joe Biden.
To Joe.
As you say it, do you hear yourself?
The U.S. is seeking to extradite Assange from London's Belmarsh prison to face 17 counts of breaching the U.S. Espionage Act, plus a separate hacking-related charge. 10 Democrats and 6 Republicans signed the letter. So this is an unbelievable misuse of the U.S. Espionage Act. First of all, Julian Assange is not even a U.S. citizen.
That's the thing that's craziest to me. I saw Bob Beckles on Fox. He was the liberal guy with the suspenders. He's a traitor. And I remember at the time, not knowing anything, going, I know he's not an American citizen, so what are you talking about? He's a traitor to NATO.
That's right. So 10 Democrats and 6 Republicans signed that letter. In it said the United States must not pursue an unnecessary prosecution that risks criminalizing common. It doesn't risk. It definitely criminalizes common journalistic practices, and thus chilling the work of the free press. So you remember how they said that Trump was the enemy of the free press because he was rude to Jim Acosta?
Yeah, the great Jim Acosta.
All the while, the establishment has been trying to kill an actual journalist, probably the greatest journalist of our generation, the guy who's revealed more war crimes and more malfeasance inside governments than anybody is Julian Assange. And at the same time, they were all mad at Trump. It's all a game. It's all a show. And if you find yourself hating Donald Trump, you've been propagandized. If you find yourself hating him and calling him a lunatic, you've been propagandized. Who's the real lunatic? Joe Biden and all the people in Congress.
You remember Julian Assange when he the Hillary's emails where Hillary's saying to Goldman Sachs, you have a public and a private position.
Yes.
And it looked really bad for Hillary.
Yes.
And I just want to add context to that malinformation. That's all of their policy, not just Hillary.
That's not just Hillary.
All of them believe they have a public and private.
That's 100%. Oh, here, they're going to talk about what I just said. We note that the 1917 Espionage Act was ostensibly intended to punish and imprison government employees and contractors for providing or selling state secrets to enemy governments, not to punish journalists and whistleblowers for it. Remember how they all stood up for Vivek, that guy, whatever that guy's name was, the whistleblower for Trump, that guy who wore his
name was Vivek?
No, what was his name? Viver something. It was Vivi something. And
who said Trump made a call to look into
that guy.
By the way, I'm glad he made that call.
I'm glad he made that call.
What happened with that?
That's right. So, and it's just so whatever the news is telling you, the exact opposite is the truth, right? So it's not intended to punish journalists and whistleblowers for attempting to inform the public about serious issues that some U.S. government officials might prefer to keep secret.
Well, that's where you're wrong, Sydney Morning Herald. That's where you're mistaken.
Well, that's not them saying it. That's the letter that the Democrats and Republicans signed out.
Yeah.
So
yeah, right.
I got to say, at least they're doing something. At least they're writing a letter, and at least they're doing something. But they were allowed to write that letter, right? Yeah. So I'm sure
to keep your bona fides while you go along with the other stuff.
So Joe Biden's like, well, we need to keep these people being able to sheepdog lefties into the Democratic Party, and these right-wingers into the Republican Party. So we'll let them have this so they can go wave this around when they try to get reelected. That's all this is, because if Joe Biden and the Democratic National Committee told them not to do this, same thing with the Republic, they wouldn't be doing it. Hey, come see us doing a live stand-up show. We'll be in Burbank, California, Oxnard, California, Venice, California, Palmdale, California. Then we're going to Omaha, Des Moines, Milwaukee, Lansing, Bend, Oregon, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, and Boston, Massachusetts. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets.